with the Epstein story putting the spotlight on Israeli intelligence, and as Israel's illegal attack on Iran and its ongoing genocide in Gaza continue to make headlines, one espionage story from the mid-'80s is as pertinent today as when it broke 40 years ago. An analyst for U.S. naval intelligence sold thousands of classified documents, an actual truckload, to Israel, motivated by what he called anti-Semitism in his workplace and what he viewed as the United States' insufficient support of its greatest ally. Here we document the 7 most surprising facts about the Jonathan Pollard spying affair. Sincere thanks to all our new subscribers and viewers. We humbly ask that you give a thumbs up and share this, and that you please subscribe to keep high-quality content coming your way. Now back to the video. Students of U.S.-Israeli relations should not be surprised that a dependent state, like Israel, would commit damaging espionage against its greatest benefactor, without whose billions in aid it could never survive. After all, Israel has attacked the United States more than once. In 1954's Lavon affair, Israel's agents planted bombs at U.S. facilities in Egypt. And in 1967, Israeli planes and torpedo boats attacked the U.S. naval ship Liberty, killing 34 Americans. And there's more. Ex-Mossad officer and author Viktor Ostrovsky claimed that in 1982, Israel's Mossad knew about an impending truck bomb attack, but that it failed to properly warn the U.S. that a terrorist event was likely at the Marine base in Beirut. Quote, "Send only the regular information," the Israeli official said. The result? 241 U.S. Marines died in the bombings. But to return to the Pollard affair, we begin with the surprising fact that the Anti-Defamation League, or the ADL, is tied to Pollard. One of Pollard's key handlers was Israeli Air Force Colonel and noted war hero Aviam Sela. Sela maintained a cover story that he was in the U.S. taking graduate courses during the affair. His wife Ruth was employed during that time as an attorney in the legal department of the ADL's New York office. Once Pollard's spying was discovered, the Selas drove to New York and took a plane to Israel to avoid arrest. This is not the ADL's only tie to criminal activity. In 1993, police raids of the San Francisco and Los Angeles offices of the ADL uncovered evidence of illegal spying conducted by agents of the League. The ADL's 1985 Torch of Liberty Award went to Mo Dalitz, erstwhile right-hand man to gangster kingpin Meyer Lansky. To the ADL, Dalitz was simply a paragon of virtue and a great philanthropist, thanks to his generous donations to the ADL through the decades. Next on our list comes a familiar name in Zionist history, Mossad's own Rafi Eitan, who was 2 steps above Colonel Sela in the Pollard spy ring. So-called Dirty Rafi ran covert operations for the Mossad for decades and led the team that captured Adolf Eichmann in Argentina in 1960. According to a book on the topic entitled Rise and Kill First, Eitan co-founded Israel's elite unit dedicated to targeted assassinations. Those political murders are state policy in Israel, as some 20 Iranian leaders and scientists were killed the night of Israel's unprovoked attack on Iran in June 2025, with Israel later threatening to assassinate the supreme leader of Iran. Our third astounding fact is that the evidence shows that another individual inside the U.S. intelligence community appears to have directed Pollard. Some have questioned the existence of the unknown person, who has become known as Mr. X, but the fact that Pollard was given a so-called shopping list, or a list of confidential documents to retrieve that included exact titles and document numbers, tends to indicate that Pollard had help from the inside. Another astounding fact is that when Pollard and his wife were on the run, they drove to the Israeli embassy in Washington seeking asylum, but were denied entry. If they'd been permitted to enter, the story might have taken a similar turn to the Julian Assange affair in London. Assange stayed inside the Ecuadorian embassy for nearly 7 years to avoid extradition to the United States. Our fifth astounding fact is that despite what he asserted during his trial, Pollard's espionage was extremely damaging to U.S. interests, putting its military forces at risk and endangering covert intelligence agents and assets in the field. Many of the purloined documents were given by the Israelis to the Soviet Union, with whom the U.S. was locked in a deadly Cold War, in exchange for allowing Soviet Jews to emigrate to Israel. Underscoring the damage done by Pollard was the sentence he was given: life in prison. A sixth astounding fact was that, despite the enormity of his crimes, a worldwide movement lobbied for Pollard's early release. He had been handed a life sentence for his crimes, yet many high-profile leaders, including Israeli prime ministers, agitated for releasing Pollard. One author claims that Benjamin Netanyahu informed then-President Bill Clinton that he had in his possession tape-recorded phone calls from Clinton to Monica Lewinsky, and he tried to use them to blackmail Clinton into pardoning Pollard. Those pardon efforts failed, but after 30 years in prison, Pollard was given parole and released in 2015. A seventh and final astounding fact is that after 5 years of checking in with parole authorities and remaining in the New York City area, Pollard's parole ended and he left the U.S. But here's the astounding part. He moved permanently to Israel and was met personally at the airport and given a hero's welcome by none other than Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. That's right, the leader currently presiding over a genocide is the same one who welcomed Pollard to his new home in Israel. The same Pollard who damaged U.S. interests irreparably. Talk about chutzpah. But our leaders would never sanction Israel or even criticize it for such things, because they are 100% owned and operated by the Israel lobby in the United States. In earlier times, though, there were several who opposed releasing Pollard. We'll leave you with the words of one George H.W. Bush, who as former CIA director knew a thing or two about intelligence. Quote, "He belongs just where he is, in jail. You do know there are a lot of people trying to get him out. That really burns me up."